Welcome to the Dr. OK Show. I am Dr. OK, and this is our Monday night recap from Everett, Washington, from Angel of the Winds Arena, which is home of the Everett Silvertips of the Western Hockey League. And Everett is 29 miles north of Seattle, so WWE, are you scared that Seattle was going to release the Kraken on you? So, pretty weird choice there. Yet again, couple Raws in a row now. But anyways, our main headline tonight is just keep looking forward to a new day. But we'll get to that in a little bit, so we will start off with just keep going full bodyguard as Raquel Rodriguez overpowered Kairi Sane with a Tejana bomb and then played full bodyguard for Liv Morgan in defending her from Rhea Ripley. So Liv and Raquel are the ones, and this was a pretty even match that they admittedly did a good job holding serve on. But when Raquel got Kairi Sane alone, she just had too much power in her, and she was able to land that Tejana bomb to get the win. So this makes up for their no contest from a few weeks ago, and surprisingly, this is the first win for Liv and Raquel. They go to 1-1-2 in traditional tags. But for damage control, it looked like it was over after Io landed a missile dropkick on Raquel, and then Kairi followed that up with an insane elbow. But Liv was there just in time to break up the pin, so Io then landed a suicide dive on Liv, but unfortunately for her, it took too long for her to be able to get back in the ring, and by the time she did, the match was already lost. So for damage control, their struggles continue here, and they have now lost 3 straight decisions and fall to 3-3-1 in traditional tags. But Io was just checking on Kairi after the match when Raquel decided it would be a good idea to start attacking Io instead, and of course Liv joined in that, so both of them will pick up fines, the 21st for Liv and the 5th for Raquel. But that's not where the story ends, because Rhea Ripley then ran on out down the ramp and she decided to go right at Raquel as Liv decided to cower behind Raquel outside the ring. So just when it looked like Rhea was getting the upper hand, Liv jumped on Rhea's back, and that was just enough for Raquel to take over, landing a kick and then throwing her face first into the corner of the announce table, and we'll see if that re-injured her orbital bone. But even with that shot, WWE officials had to come out to stop the fight. Well, you may have forgot that Io is the #1 contender, but fortunately after this match, we finally got around to it, and Io will challenge Liv at Saturday night's main event for the title. So at least Liv and Raquel waited until after the match to attack damage control, but pretty much more the same, so not okay. In our second match, we just keep realizing that someone has to win, as the combined record of the first ever competitors for the Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament had a combined singles record of 1-17 this year. Way to start this tournament off with a bang, WWE. 1-17, jeez. Okay, well anyways, Dakota is the ones as she recovered from a Karafuda clutch just in time to get out of the way of a 450 splash, and she took advantage, landing a GTK, which it's been a minute since we've seen that one, as Dakota picks up her first singles win since October 3rd, 2022. That is over 2 years without a singles win, so congratulations to her on this big victory, and she goes to 1-5, and more importantly, advances to the semifinals of the Women's Intercontinental Tournament, which has the exact same setup as the Women's US title tournament. So Shayna is the twos, and she actually controlled most of this match and was even able to stave off both women back to back during the commercial break that we saw in that very little box as usual. But she was left vulnerable after Dakota escaped the Karafuda clutch, and she fell victim to the 450 splash from Katana. And though she didn't get pinned here, Shayna falls to 1-9 in singles matches this year. And that means Katana Chance is the 3s, as yes, she took the GTK from Dakota in this one, but she looked amazing with a Hurricane Rana right after she tried for a double powerbomb that she couldn't quite pull off, but I'm sure she'll get it next time because that's what Katana will do. But hey, she did have the move of the match with that 450 splash, but she just fell victim to Dakota right at the wrong moment as she was vulnerable after finishing off the move. But hey, we are really excited here. She finally got a singles match that was not either the Royal Rumble or a Battle Royal, so she finally got to show what she can do. But for now, unfortunately, she does fall to 0-5 in singles matches. However, Katana was back in action with no mask here, so we're pretty excited about that. So this definitely gets an okay. Up next, we just keep pulling a coup as Gunther finally had enough of Dominic Mysterio, and he delivered a chop, then a big boot, and a powerbomb to get the win. So Gunther is the ones as he looks to have regained his confidence and is now 14-2 in one-on-one matches. For Dom, well, he almost pulled off his own coup with a low blow when the ref got pushed into the turnbuckle, so he couldn't see it, and Dom continued with 2 619s and a frog splash, but it still wasn't enough to put Gunther away, and in fact, it probably just angered him a little bit more, so Dom is back to his normal track of losing, which he's now done for 3 straight matches, and he's 3-9 in one-on-one action. So it was Finn Balor who pulled off the coup here, because after the match, he landed 3 coup de grace on Gunther, and that'll cost him his 23rd fine, but he told Dom that's how it's done. And that proved to be the case because after the match, Adam Pearce told Balor that Gunther wants a title match against him just as much as Balor wants it, so we will also see that on Saturday night's main event. And we'll also know the WWE showed a post-Survivor Series attack with Balor shoving Priest into an equipment box, and then McDonough and Carlito also joined in on that, so all 3 of them will get fines, and Balor got what he wanted there because instead of Priest having the World Heavyweight Championship, he has his arm in a sling. So for the match itself, this was pretty good with Gunther again showing his dominance, so we'll give it an okay. Up fourth in another 5-match card, we just keep listening to the crowd as Butch, or I should say Pete Dunne, well, he got completely rattled by the crowd chanting Butch. So R-Truth immediately took advantage and rolled him up from behind for the win. So Truth is indeed the ones as he gets a 2nd straight win in pretty much the exact same fashion, and he goes to 2-2 in one-on-one matches. But for Dunne, well, he is the 2s, and he looked dominant for just a moment because he was quickly thrown off his game and that cost him, so he goes to 2-4 in one-on-one matches, and because this was just way too short without any real good wrestling, not okay. And that takes us to our main event with Just Keep Thinking With Your Head, which is what Sami Zayn failed to do as he blamed Rollins for a pre-match attack on main event Jey Uso. So Zayn ended up grabbing a chair mid-match and nearly hit Rollins with it. But Rollins was able to talk him down, so when Zayn tossed the chair out of the ring, Rollins took advantage with a small package to get the win. So Seth Rollins is the ones, as he was the one that thought with his head instead of Zayn getting that quick pin after he apparently cooled off after himself becoming enraged for being blamed for the attack. So Rollins stops his 2-match singles losing streak and goes to 4-2-1 in one-on-one matches, while Sami Zayn is the 2s, and he could not maintain his composure after Jay's attack, so he grabbed that chair, and it cost him, and surprisingly, that makes him the first WWE superstar on the main roster with 10 one-on-one losses in 2024. Now, admittedly, he also has the most one-on-one matches of everyone, so I guess that evens it out a little bit, and he's still above 500 at 12-10. But as Zayn was processing everything in his head after the match, well, a hooded figure appeared and immediately claymored him, which of course meant it was Drew McIntyre returning for the first time since Bad Blood. So McIntyre will pick up his 6th fine of the year, but who knows what he even wants in this one, so I guess we'll probably find out next week. But I hope this is not the last of Zayn and Rollins, because we know they can do far better than this if given the opportunity. And we also just didn't need McIntyre in here at all, so this is getting a double not okay. So that takes us beyond the mat for Raw, and we got to that match because CM Punk started the show saying that he now knows exactly where he's going after pointing to a non-existent WrestleMania sign. And he said that he has some favors that he can cash in if he needs to do so. But Rollins interrupted him and said that he was ready to rectify his mistakes after seeing Punk join up with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. And of course, this led to a brief tussle between the two, and Rollins was the one that instigated this, so he'll pick up his 6th fine. However, Jey Uso and Zayn were both right there to break it up very quickly, and then WWE officials also came out to prevent it from escalating further, and that's what led to the match, because Rollins and Zayn then had an interaction with Zayn saying that he did not want CM Punk, the one to help his team at Survivor Series, but Rollins laid down the law because Zayn wanted to help the monster Roman Reigns. And Rollins further called Reigns the scum of the earth, with Rollins correctly pointing out that he has not apologized to anyone, even his own family members, and has not changed at all. So Rollins turned that back on Zayn, saying that he was both naive and stupid. And of course, when you bring up facts about how terrible Roman Reigns still is, this has to get a double okay. So that takes us to our main headline of just keep looking forward to a new day, as we finally and mercifully got to the New Day 10-year anniversary celebration. And WWE did a nice job putting out New Day memorabilia on both the ramp and inside the ring. But this one had a bit of a muted tone, as Woods and Kingston were both in somber moods, with Woods about to make a big announcement after thanking the crowd and saying that it wasn't their fault. But right before he could get to that announcement, Big E finally showed up for the first time on Raw or SmackDown, for the first time in almost 4 years, and said that he would show up as their manager every single week going forward to keep the New Day together. To which Woods retorted, "Now?" And Kingston said, "So what?" to Big E's neck injury, as he pointed out that Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, and Edge all returned after suffering broken necks, and said that Big E had chose everything else over them. So at this point, Woods noted that Big E is just a burden and told him to leave the ring. E tried one more time and put out his arms for a hug, but no. Kingston put out his arm to stop him, and they both made him leave the ring. So, in a way, congrats to Big E, because you have now officially kept the New Day together, even if that got you officially booty-o'd out of the New Day. So for this amazing turn of events, for keeping Kingston and Woods together, this of course gets a double okay. But guys, now's your time. You gotta take advantage. We finally need you to win some matches. And let's end with a couple quick hitters here. Karrion Kross had a pre-tape segment in which he said the Wyatt Six used his wife to get to him, and it worked. So we will finally get an 8-man tag match next week. But for Kross's passion here, it gets and OK. Ludwig Kaiser interrupted Braun Breaker's interview with Kathy Kelly, with Kaiser saying he got exactly what he wanted out of their match at Survivor Series by breaking Sheamus's ribs, saying it is a rib for a rib, which is kind of a new take. But anyways, Breaker said that he will talk to Pierce about getting an IC title match between just the two of them, but said Kaiser better get a move on getting out of Gunther's shadow because Gunther's stock is way down. But it's interesting to see where this might go between Breaker and both members of Imperium, so we'll give it an OK. And lastly, we did point out that Jey Uso was attacked before the main event, and we don't officially know who did it, so we can't give that an STF for now. But we have a suspicion it was a certain Scottish psychopath. So this is indeed a new day for the WWE, but if you missed the prior couple days of our grades of Survivor Series and SmackDown, go right on over here to check that out. And if you do, just like today's show, that would be okay.